welcome here. We're at the virtual Caligari, and we're today talking to the Jacek, who won the grand prize in the Open Frame Award with his great project Whispers. I have seen it
Hello.
many times during this festival. I love it very much, and it's well deserved. You being the winner because this project is very beautiful. It's cinematic. Mm, it's very great production. So let's talk about it. Tell me, how did you work on it? You told me that the scenes were combined of somewhere it was two places combined in one. Somewhere it was three places. So how did you work on the composition of the scenes?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the warm words for Whispers. Yeah, we are developing that technique for already several projects, and most of the shots, most of the scenes and environments in Whispers, even though they look natural, I hope so, they are actually combined out of several shots that are done in different locations in different times sometimes. So we are shooting that, for example, the scene with the church, we needed the church to be very close to the Whisperer's house, and on the real location it was not like that. So we shot these two locations separately. Also, the back was shot separately, and out of these three places, we combined them and created a completely new place that does not exist in reality, but but it's useful in our story, and it tells what is needed to be told in the story. And
Okay,
there
it's
is a
somehow
number of shots like that.
So it's some kind of a retouched documentary, right? In some way.
Yes. Yeah, actually, speaking about documentary in this project, almost everything is fake in this film. I mean, the locations are this is anthropological museum mostly, plus some exteriors that we found in different place. The interiors is mostly set design. Then it's all post-produced. So and also the sound is also completely post-produced. I mean, apart from dialogues, all the rest is all the rest of the sound is created in the post-production. But on the other hand, people that are in this project are completely real. I mean, the priest is a real priest. The people who are gathering on the celebration, it's a Greek Catholic choir. So when they pray, they really pray. They pray for real. And the whisperer is a real whisperer. So when she makes her ritual, she also makes it for real. I mean, she even had that intention, and it came from herself. That
Seriously?
everyone who is in this experience, who is going to experience it, is gonna be healed by her. So she was doing that over the camera with that intention.
Oh, amazing. So, aren't you a little bit afraid of filming the real ritual? And now I feel almost in a different way the scene when she's close to you with the hands. So it's looks very natural in your movie, and now I realize that it's the real ritual. So she's doing that with you.
Yes, she's doing that with the intention over the camera, but actually over the viewer. It was still repeated several times. It was also shot on different cameras, actually, and we combined the image in the post-production because we wanted to have good stereoscopy in the close-ups. So it's also not a regular shot, but still, yes, she was doing it very seriously regarding her intention, and yeah, that was the idea, and that was also her idea to do it this way.
Oh, cool. And what is the ritual that she's doing? She's burning some hair. What exactly does she doing? So she's healing the girl in the scene, the viewer, or what is the meaning of this ritual?
This ritual is actually the ritual of getting out the illness that is called in this area nerves. And it is like, actually, we have, I mean, a lot of us have nerves because of the anxiety we have in our everyday life. And the ritual she makes is for that, exactly. So it is intended to calm you down, to find a relation with your environment, actually, and with your inner self. And that's the meaning of the ritual she's doing.
You have
Do you have it?
some mystical
Okay.
moments on your maybe film set or later on the post-production, because often when someone working on some mystical films, they have some mystical things in their life. So did you have that trouble?
Actually, we did, and it's pretty surprising because, I mean, both of us, Patryk Jordanowicz, the co-director and author of photography, and me, we are really rational people. I mean, I'm the philosopher by education, and we are not very much into mystical experiences in our everyday life, let's say. We are rather, we have rather a rational approach to everything. But there was a moment when things really started to look strange during this film, because yeah, I mean, our intention was to shoot on the north of Poland and on the border and in Belarus, on the border with Belarus and in Belarus. But then at some point we've met Olga Solarz, who ended up as being second director, and she's anthropologist, and she helped us to find people and places, and actually she redirected us into the south of Poland and Ukraine. And it was pretty strange because at some point we realized that making decisions based on production value, making decisions based on aesthetic value, making decisions made because we liked some places and so on, it ended up that all the places that were in the film are actually gathered around old Lemko village, which is in the museum, and Lemko village, which was wiped out in 1947. And actually, it also showed up that all the people that are in this film are also people who are linked to Lemko culture. Lemkos is the ethnic minority that lives in Poland, and that was wiped out actually from their land in 1947. And what we ended up is a kind of tribute to their culture, and it happened completely unintentionally. And the strangest moment was when there is a situation with the tree. There is the scene with the tree, with the strange dead tree, and we also choose it by accident. I mean, we were to shoot in a different location. Finally, we choose this one. And when Olga came to the set, she asked us if we know what was on the other side of the road. Like, this was the tree, there is the road, and what was on the other side of the road. And we said that we have no idea. And it showed up that exactly, I don't know, 20 meters from there was exactly the same church that we were shooting in the museum. And we didn't know that.
Oh,
and and that church was after the Wisła action in 1947. Then in the 60s, it was taken, it was destroyed after, and in the 60s, it was taken and rebuilt in the museum. So completely unconsciously we choose exactly places that were completely linked to each other. So that was pretty, strange, and that was strange moment in this. That was strange moment in this production, but and it a bit felt like that.
Cool. I feel like we have something more in this world than only racial things. Okay, tell me a little bit about the techniques. So, how exactly did you shoot? You've got the stereo. So, what was the rig? What was the setup? How did you work?
Yeah. Actually, we've been using two types of cameras. We've been using Insta360 Pro 2 for most of the time. We've been using this camera, and then we've been using also Zcam K1 Pro for close-ups and for close stereoscopy. So like this scene in with the Whisperer who is close to you, it was she was shot with this with Zcam 180 camera, but the environment was shot in Insta, and we combined it in the post production, and also like the inside of the car. We've been shooting the exterior separately and the interior separately, and the interior was shot with Insta, but it was shot twice with a slight difference in position of the camera, in rotation actually of the camera. Therefore, we could recreate the stereoscopy, the proper stereoscopy of inside of the car, and made it blend it with the properly shot in stereoscopy exterior of the car. So so that kind of tricks was used a lot of times in this film, but we've been basing on these two cameras. Then the post production was pretty regular. We've been editing in Premiere. And there is also a lot of cleaning and VFX that was done by Anna Giemzik and Przemek Mastela. And for example, the one that was pretty difficult was the cable cam shot. Because you can see that the cable, we are going through the pretty flat surface, and there is nothing behind us. So the cable from the cable cam was actually attached to the car, and we had to remove the car and us in the post production as well as the cable. And that was pretty complicated because of the movement, because the spherical camera is not exactly proportional, so tracking of this camera was pretty difficult. But they managed to do it, and it's also their job to connect these places that were shot separately and to do it clean so it's not visible for the viewer.
Okay. One more question about the lightning. So I've seen a lot of dark scenes in your film. So first scene is with the sunset, with the dead tree, and next one is near the church when it's almost evening. I know that you were filming on the Insta, and I think that all those cameras, they work hard with the lack of light. So how did you work with that?
Actually, most of the scenes were lit artificially with lights. So even if we've been shooting at night, we had enough light to put it on stage, and to have the set let's say almost properly lit, because it was still not enough, and there is it had to be denoised after on the post production. But still there was a lot of light used on set to make it visible and to make it as clear as it's possible. And it's mainly Patrick's job to do it properly and to make it look like this.
Done well, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You were with this project in the Venice Biennale College. So tell a bit more about that. How were you accepted? What did you gain there? And how did it all go in the Venice Biennale College?
Yeah, regarding Biennale, it's I mean, it was a game changer for this project because we've been developing that for 2 years till then, and we did not have money also to make it, but and we applied with this project to Biennale. We got there, and actually it really helped us to really develop this project also on the conceptual level. And I was telling that several times, and I will tell it once more, that these were really the best workshops I've been on, and I've been to several till now. It really, I mean, there was great understanding of among tutors.
Let's move on. So here we are. We're in our next place. It's the VR rooftop because it is accessible to view it from the Quest for all of the users. And we're talking to Jan about his film, The Whisper. And we've got here our special correspondent, Swan Fedja, one from the TARS. And we're talking about the production of the film. So we were talking, last question, we were talking about your participation in the Venice school. So tell me, how do you come with the idea to use the VR?
Yeah. So actually, the VR was at the very beginning of this, and the very first driver for this project was to find a subject that will fit to this specific means of expression that are in virtual reality. So like presence, spatiality, embodiment. So the beginning was strictly formal. We were looking for that kind of subject, and we found it in Whispers, and it allowed us to use these means of expression and actually to go even farther, to try, because we do believe that virtual reality is not exactly about recreating reality, but it's much more about constructing it. And this is what we do regarding how we film and how we do the post-production. But also this construction gives a possibility to go farther, to go, let's say, beyond the surface of events and of everything we know from our everyday rational life. So so whispering and rituals and all these things that are around religion gave us this possibility. We made the structure of the experience based on the religious experience, and that was our formal approach. And it ended up with this project, with this experience you've seen.
Okay, so the script was written first of all for the TV video, or you started doing the script for 360 degree from the beginning. Did you have to adapt it, or how did you work with the script?
No, we've been working on the script strictly for this medium, so there was never idea to do it in a different way. And that was the reason we choose that subject, actually. Just a second, please. So yeah, that was the idea, to use it, and we developed this script mostly on Biennale College Cinema. And thanks to the support of the tutors that were there, and and we've been working on it with these means of expression, virtual reality means of expression, in mind from the very beginning.
Okay, so now you have developed, produced a whole film in 360 degree. It's very complicated stereo film. So what do you plan next? So do you plan to do the 360 degree, or you're planning to experiment with some photogrammetry, interactive, maybe computer graphics or something like that? What do you plan to do next?
Yeah, I mean, Whispers is actually our second 360 3D film, and what is just a second,
Yep.
if you
Yep.
could hold it on for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Hey. All right, I'm back.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry. So Whispers is our second 360 3D production, and then actually already after it, I made the adaptation of to virtual reality of theater play, and we had the premiere of it in February. And it was like 10 few minutes long pieces that were combined with interactive installation, and that was also pretty big project. And then apart from that, I'm the head of virtual reality lab in Lodz Film School. And we are developing there more or less 5 projects a year, together with teams that are applying to the lab. And we are and these are many different kinds of projects. They are interactive, they are cinematic, and what our goal is to gather the knowledge from all these projects during the development, during the production, during the post-production, and publish it and set it to give it to the people and to the next participants of the lab each year. So actually we are trying to put our toes in the lab in many different kinds of VR. And for last 5 years, I'm completely into virtual reality. Together with my wife, we have a company, Centrala, that is a film production company, and we have it for 20 years already. But for the last 5 years, I personally deal with VR only. And I'm gonna stay with that. And the next project we are developing right now is going to be a co-production with France and Germany. The project is supported by media fund for the development money. We just applied it to PFI, and this is going to be a pretty long 3-part. Probably still cinematic, but maybe with some volumetric elements. And this is a man with the virtual reality camera, which is, of course, the kind of tribute to Man with a Movie Camera by Jacek Nagłowski. And we are trying, because we think that what we are dealing what we are dealing right now with is actually we have completely new medium as Wiertów had 100 years ago, and we have a huge shift in our society. Then it was industrial revolution. Now we have digital revolution and all the social changes that come from this. So this similarity of these times and of the situation of the new medium, where we try to develop the language and research the language of this new medium, which is, and keep and stay with the characteristic of this medium, find the rules that are there. So so this is kind of parallel. But of course, because times are different, because the world is different, because medium is different, it's going to be completely different project than Man with the Movie Camera. But but this is where it comes from, and we are developing it right now.
Okay. I'm interested if there will be some filmmakers who will use VRChat for their film sets. Probably I think if we use it for the film festival, why not to use it as a film set? Someone could shoot entire film using the VRChat. Okay, it's just an idea. Patrick, as I know, Jacek, sorry.
If I could,
sure.
if I could. Actually, Dream Adoption Society, they are preparing theater plays in VRChat. And they are going to also to film it and to stream it.
Yeah, so you
Then
mean the
it's actually more or less
documentation
this what you are saying.
Oh yeah, yeah. The documentation of the performance is um, one of the section of the filmmaking. So yeah, in some kind
Yeah.
of it's a film internally made in VR. Yeah, you're right. So yes, because I know you're a professional documentary filmmaker. So how did that affect you as a creator?
Oh, could you please repeat because I lost you for the.
Yeah, as I know you're a professional documentary filmmaker. So how did that affect you as a creator? How do you use your skills in VR?
Of course, in virtual reality, you have to you have to forget a lot about regular filmmaking because it's rather hampering you than developing, in my opinion, in many aspects. But for sure, the production process itself in cinematic VR is kind of similar. I mean, you can find similarities. You have the development. You have to have as good script as it's possible. You have to prepare the production. You have the shooting. You have the post production. So the stages are pretty similar, and how to and organizing it is also kind of similar. Of course, you have much more post production in this case than in case of regular film. But even as a documentary filmmaker, I had that constructivist approach to it, and my documentaries were also done this way. Therefore, the approach is simply taken, but much more developed in virtual reality. And I believe that people that I'm working with, like Patrick, who was also the DOP, and set designers and costume designers and sound designers, they're all people we know each other, and we worked for many years from the regular film industry. So we know where we are heading and what is important for us. So I think it is also then visible in the final effect because we simply understand each other very well. So that I think that helps, right? But regarding the language itself and how to tell stories, or maybe it's not exactly a story, but how to create experience for the viewer. I do believe that that we all start from the scratch really here, and and that is actually fascinating in it.